What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews. I am Eric. On the bar for today, Ledaig Sinclair Series Rioja Cask Finish. As always here on the channel, I'm going to give you a nose taste finish review of this single malt whiskey. I'll tell you a bit about the value, give you my final thoughts, final score, leave you with the malt music. But first, if you're new, just landed here for the first time, take a second, smash that subscribe button. That'll make sure you don't miss any of my reviews, which come out every Friday, as well as my Tuesday happy hours, which is live each Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Love to see you there. All right, Ledaig, regionally considered an island whiskey. This is from the Tobermory distillery located on the Isle of Mull. Ledaig is their peated line, and what we're looking at today is a relatively new release. This came out late 2020 in the UK market, and what we got here is 46.3% whiskey. I can show you what the bottle looks like here. Really nice box presentation. That's what we're looking at. Typical Ledaig kind of minimalist style. And this is from the Sinclair series, which is a brand new thing, paying homage to John Sinclair, the person who bought the land and ultimately founded the Tobermory distillery. As far as other information here on this whiskey, it does say right here, non-chill filtered, great news. However, there is no mention about color, so we might have to assume they've added a little bit of color to this. This is also a non-age statement whiskey, so expecting it to be a rather young spirit. We'll just do a quick check here on the box. I don't really see much other information regarding color or anything like that, so that's the tail of the tape here on the Ledaig. Rioja wine, just in case you are familiar, similar to a Cabernet Sauvignon. It's more of a sweet red wine, a lot of cherry flavor in it. So you'll be picking that up most assuredly here in this whiskey. Get a dram of this in the glass and let's get into it. So that is the color. It almost looks like a rosé. Very light, kind of pinkish red hue on this one. Interesting. Let's get into it. Right away in the nose. Smoky, good amount of peat. Very kind of a dry barley. You're picking up a nice amount of that grain note on here. That peated grain is just really standing out. Their peat, kind of earthy, similar to perhaps Ardbeg, if we're going to make a comparison. There's a good amount of sweetness too, definitely coming off that Rioja wine cask. We don't know how long it was in there, but judging by the color and what I'm picking up here, it seems to be relatively balanced, which is great. Again, those ex-bourbon notes. Most Ledaigs are, their 10-year-old, for example, is aged in ex-bourbon. Picking that up here. Berries, just random berries. I can't really quite put a descriptor on it. There's a little bit of an herbal note in this too, and a bit of cocoa and spice. All in all, really nice nose, but that wine overcoat is kind of taking center stage here, but balancing fairly decently with the bourbon notes. Okay, let's give it a taste, Salancha. Sweet, savory, a little bit of acidic sourness. Arrives with a nice medium mouthfeel. So it's got some viscosity to it. That 46.3% ABV is definitely helping with that. You get a really, really heavy rush of black cherry, a little bit of cranberry even, raspberry, all the berries. Sweet, the vanilla, the caramel, that kind of a burnt sugar note coming through, a bit of that oak spice, and then you get a nice surge of the peat, effervescent, smoky charcoal a little bit. Finish, however, relatively short medium. Getting a little bit of just that kind of new distillate flavor, cocoa, vanilla bean, maybe even a hint of like butterscotch. Okay, Let's put a bit of water on this. 46.3% ABV. We're going to do just a couple drops here just to see what else we can pull out of this whiskey. Okay. As we go back in for the nose, a bit more acidity and citrus is coming through here, but relatively still staying intact. Not too much new coming in, maybe just a slight, almost almondy note. Okay. Arrives really good, intense, flavorful, the sweet, that kind of acidity. It's a bit more cloying now, almost like artificial cherry flavor to some degree. Not suggesting that that's what's been used in this, but it's just the flavor you get. Sweet. Yeah. Again, finish is very short. It doesn't hold on much at all. And with water, it's actually even shorter. All in all, not bad. Was surprised the complexity I felt like stuck out a little bit more on the nose neat, or on the palate neat, than it does on this with water, but still not the most complex whiskey ever. Okay. If you want to get your hands on a bottle like this here in early 2021, you're going to have to go overseas to find it. There are places that ship to the United States that have this. You get your hands on it. You're going to find this for about $50 US, $45, $50. So pretty good price. So I'm going to give this kind of a, a good value. I don't think this is going to break the bank for you. Okay. So the final thoughts here on the Ledaig Sinclair series Rioja cask finish. First of all, I'm a big fan of Ledaig and Tobermory in general. The Ledaig 10 was number 3 in my top whiskeys of 2020, and for good reason. It's incredibly good, heavily peated Scotch with a lot of complexity. You do get a bit of that in here, a bit of that signature style of theirs that I was talking about earlier, but however, that Rioja cask wine influence really does serve as almost like an overcoat that kind of mutes some of those things. This thing, despite having a promising nose and a really good initial development, falls off relatively quickly. As an NAS whiskey, you would love to see this actually, maybe with their 10-year-old or with a little bit of age. So maybe we'll see something down the line, but I think it's a promising start. I haven't had a bad Ledaig yet. So, my score on this is going to be a solid 3, which means that I recommend that you give this a try and pick it up at a good price, which basically should be the case everywhere right now. So 3 out of 5 for the Ledaig Sinclair series Rioja cask finish. All right. That's a wrap on this whiskey review. I'm going to finish up on this dram. Let me know in the comments section. Are you a fan of Ledaig? If you had this one before, what are your thoughts on it? Would love to hear what folks have to think. And with that, I'll send you on over to your malt musing as always, and I will catch you next Friday here on Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews. So, Lanja.